A little while back, a few weeks, I don't know, we looked at Colossians 1:21, in which the Apostle Paul says that you once were enemies, alienated in your mind. And he was revealing and showing us that the separation that we oftentimes experience or believe in between ourselves and God is in our heads. It's a delusion. It's not the reality. He tells us something about this alienation, this status as contrary, antagonistic to God in Romans. There's so much in the writings of Paul and in Romans specifically, but let's look at Romans 5. And he says, verse 10, so Romans 5:10, he says, "For if when we were enemies," so when were we enemies? Well, again, Colossians 1:21 says that we were alienated, we were enemies in our heads, in our minds. It was our imagination, it was our own thinking, our ways that we said, I'm separated from God, I'm his enemy, I am alienated from him. It was in our heads. It was a delusion. And we could find that the genesis of that in Genesis back in the Garden of Eden with Adam. And that's the whole mind in the mind of, it's the flesh, it's the mind of Adam that has been lived out and passed down that we have all experienced. But Jesus brings something different. And that's what we're going to go on in verse 10. He says, "For if when we were enemies," when you were an enemy, when you were separated by how you understood and you thought, "if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God through the death of his son." Reconciled is a beautiful word, which means to be made one with. So any division that seemingly existed has been removed and you've been brought back into that union, that oneness that has always existed. So the reconciliation, because the separation was in a delusion, was in your mind, was a clarification. It was a revelation of Jesus where you see him, and that changes your world. That changes everything, because now you realize you are not separated. You are not an enemy. You are not apart from him. In fact, he has been here the whole time and continues to be here. Jesus coming in the flesh into our darkness and our delusion, experiencing our delusion. My God, why have you forsaken me? When scripture shows clearly God did not forsake him. But he entered into the very feeling, the very experience that we've all had of being separated and alienated and forsaken. So while we were yet enemies, while we imagined this, we were at that same time that you were an enemy, even while you were separate in your mind, in your thoughts, and in your belief in this delusion, you were made one, you were reconciled, you were brought into this place of union through the death of his son. Now he can't die except that he first lived. And the whole incarnation and life of Christ was everything. And he goes on, much more. So if this has happened, much more. There's something even more important. Having been reconciled. Okay, so more than just being made one, we shall be saved, delivered by his life. So I'm reconciled, made one, brought back into fellowship and union by his death. But the fact is, he did not stay dead. He resurrected. And through that life, I am continually made safe, secure. I am saved. I am delivered. My life that I have been given is in him, in his life. If he had stayed dead, I wouldn't have the hope. I wouldn't have the power. I wouldn't have the authority. I wouldn't have the life that I do. So through his death, I'm reconciled. He has completely destroyed the separation, the alienation that I believed. And through his resurrection and his life and his living in me and me in him, I am victorious and I am saved, and I am freed from all that has ever held me. This is the truth. This is the beauty of the gospel, the good news, that Jesus has freed me, and he empowers me to walk it out.